Hi everyone, it's Harry the Soul Coach, and I'm back again to do another research video, following on from my recent one that I've just posted, all to do with the Q posts. If you're new to my channel, please remember to subscribe. And what I'm really focusing on now is going back through these Q posts to show you that this has been a military operation from the very start. You'll hear the words QAnon, and you'll hear a lot of people within the truth movement downplay the Q posts, and you'll hear about decoding, and you'll hear about deltas, and it's very confusing if we haven't taken the time to go and look at it. The Q post is like the Bible. There's a lot of words, there's a lot of posts, there's a lot of chapters, and there's a lot of different interpretations and meanings that we can take from all of it. When we start looking at the highest perspective, and when we go back to see what it was used for at that time and how impactful it was, it's a lot easier to see everything else in this world now. So what I showed you on the last video, and I'll leave the link here, I encourage to go and watch it because it really highlights how clever this plan has been. And the plan that I mentioned is all about removing evil from every aspect of our life. Imagine living in a world where there is no corruption, no crime, no groups of people doing things to deceive others, to control, to have power, to have wealth, to ruin lives. Imagine a world where all of that doesn't exist. Because the first thing the ego kicks off, no, it can't be. Yes, it will be, and that's what's taking place now. So I'm going to show you how all of this comes down to that word, the truth. The truth is everything that's taken place and everything that's unfolding in front of us. The truth has been hidden from us, from all walks of life, for many generations. Because if people found out the truth, which comes back to God, and it comes back to the fact that you are all gods, which is very hard for people to accept. That is the ultimate truth. And there's these people in this world that have created a system that's influenced a lot of other people, part of the system, to keep you distracted. Distraction is keeping you away from the truth. We live in a world full of lies. It's a matrix. It's a dark enterprise. There's criminals from every level, every sort of crime. It's all part of the same system. And where we've lived our own lives, we've had our own experiences, we've grown up in certain areas, we've been in certain countries, we're around certain people, and we all know dodgy people. I'm pretty convinced that we've all known someone that's been inside, we've known someone that's been arrested, we've known someone that's had their house burgled. We see it all. We've had a life full of experiences, and we've heard a lot. We've also shown a lot of that now on the movies, on the TV programs, on the documentaries. All of these TV programs and films and movies have all been created to show us, because the world is so much bigger than what we have experienced, so much bigger. So the truth is about everything that takes place in this world, and people have done all they can to stop you finding it. Before we had the internet, the world was not connected, so you only had your own experience. And the world that we've been born into, there's means of communicating. You had newspapers, you have radios. Now we have the internet. And we can get anything in the click of a button. Snap of our fingers, we can get information. It is an informational age, and the way that we learn and the way that we consume now has enhanced so much. So a lot of the war now is stopping people getting this information by getting in the way, called gatekeepers, giving their own interpretations of information. And a great example of that is the church. Reason why many people have been put off by the church and maybe haven't even bothered going to the church, which I was one of them, was because when you see people that are talking about Jesus and are talking about God, they're angry, they're preachy, they're argumentative, they don't look like they're happy, there's no love coming out of them. I don't want anything to do with that. And I realize it's all about the messenger. So at every level, infiltration has taken place. This is a war, a spiritual battle. anything that's created, anything. If you look at the artists, musicians, and then people try to get their hands on them, the agents. They'll try to get their hands on the lyrics. They'll try to steal, copy, imitate. That's the world we've lived in. So creation first, and there's always then people that are figuring out ways how they can steal and gain the benefits from it. So the Q posts was on like a forum chat room, posted 2017 of October. And the first post said about Hillary Clinton being arrested or detained. And after that, there was just a regular succession of posts most days. And that's gone on till all the way up to 2020. And then we saw a number of posts, or a handful of posts after 2020. So after Donald Trump had lost the election. So the last episode that I did showed you how all the events on the Q post have already happened. I showed you how it is military in lifetime showcasing what's going on in the world because you're not being shown it on mainstream media. Whilst being shown the truth, you also see in the lies. Like there's a clear difference. The Q boards are predetermining when events are happening, and they do. So you're like, it's got a bit. And what they also show you is Donald Trump is involved with it. So if we can start going back now to 2017, and I really want you to imagine like the whole spectrum of crime. Let's say at the very top crime, the most evil, murders, rapes, anything to do with kids, trafficking, organ harvesting, like the most evil, the things you see in the films. So use the spectrum. And then you've got all the way down, crime taking place, could be giving out passwords, could be taking someone's work and sending it on an email to someone else. It could be just stealing, identity theft, all these different things where even you see the way that I say it, it's like, oh, it's not a big thing. It's still crime. It still ruins lives. It still benefits a few. It still involves people knowing what they're doing is wrong. So every form of crime, everything you can think of, drug dealing, think about it, security, allowing things in, customs. There's so much. There's so much that it leaves you kind of thinking, oh, what other crimes? There's so much. Every possible crime, full spectrum of crime. So at the very top of this crime is people that control it. There's like the head dogs, the top bosses. That's in every organization anyway, in any drug organization, any gang organization, there's always the top bosses, the mafia. So it's the same with this whole system, there'd be top bosses. So 2017 was the year that Donald Trump come in and shocked the world. And quickly you saw world events start taking place. But the media was so hating on Trump from the start, which is all part of this plan. And the world obviously follow what they're being told. So many of us watching were maybe not the biggest Donald Trump fans back then. And I know for a fact that many of us had different views on many things that happened in our world. So we saw the way he was attacked and we just went along with it because the world was so asleep then. But he went straight to Saudi Arabia, 2017. The first country he went to in February. So he's just come in as president. His 9th executive order, he signed an executive order to end and eradicate human trafficking internationally. As the 9th executive order, he signed into play instantly. So he went to Saudi Arabia, and the way it was being reported, you saw loads of strange events taking place. It's like they honored Trump being there. And then he was doing a dance where he was given a sword. And that represent a new king. And all these different things started unfolding. And Donald Trump then set off around the world. And he went to all these world destinations, Israel, the Vatican, when he went to London, went to NATO. And you see all these different things taking place, but you're only getting one perspective still. Then he's running for the next 4 years, leading up to 2020. And Hillary Clinton never thought she would lose. So at the same time, they've now got loads of people coming after Trump, trying to find ways that they can get him done for. So very early on, we saw lots of spying taking place. And then we've heard about spying, Russian hacking, Russian collusion, Russia. The media were using that the whole time. They went after Trump for everything. All of that stuff was 2017. The spying took place even before the elections. So 2016, that stuff now, the people that were spying on them is in the news right now. So we've had a good 7 years, and now it's back in the news again. In that 7 years, we've learned a lot. So the highest levels of evil, when Donald Trump come in, he had military generals all around him. It was a military operation. It always has been. It's not about politics. He went straight there, and quite quickly then we started seeing some of these big arrests take place. And in October of 2017, the first Q post took place. And if we look at the first few arrests in Saudi Arabia, you'll see it's the same time. So the arrests take place as the Q board and Q post start. And it's pointing you to say, look what's going on in Saudi Arabia. And you saw many of the prince all get arrested. So imagine now at the top, you've got people that know about this whole system. They're like the organizers, the traffickers, they're the logistics of things, the modes of transportation, and you can imagine it's huge. So you've got now people who are always on the lookout for any updates, news, technology, because they want to be ahead of the game. Criminals are always the early adapters, so they would have been seeing this. And then the posts start coming on, going, hang on. And then there's actually seeing it on the news, but it's not being reported. And people are starting to get taken out. Considering that Hillary Clinton was arrested and detained on the first ever post, you're now starting to see this is all unfolding. So imagine you're a criminal at the low levels and you're going, "Oh, they're taking them out, they're taking them out." And he started going around the world, and you started seeing people being fired as soon as he come in as president with FBI, and you saw loads. But Q's telling you what to look for. They say, watch the news today, look up for the update, look at this post, look at Donald Trump's Twitter, look at the time that we did it all. How can that be a coincidence? This is a military operation. So it's guiding people. So Donald Trump was going after the worst crimes to start with. So think of all the people that control it all. If you watch the Snowden film and see the NSA technology, see that the way that they do spy using NSA with the internet, anything that's gone on this space, they can get access to. Go and have a look at that. So all the criminals, the ones that do hide in the shadows, in their mansions, in their bunkers, would have all been tracked. All of them would have had hardly any interaction and engagement with other people. It would have all been through communication passed down. You take them all out. These people are committing crimes of the worst. You take them out. The military operation involved. So you can start replacing people too. So if they're watching this, they're seeing their empire at the very top. The people are getting dealt with, and it's not getting mentioned. There's a panic that will kick in. But also, because it's one system, you can't alert everyone because you give the game away. So, and also knowing that the technology is that advanced, even if they are now communicating on the airway, they have to be careful because it's all being monitored. So as Donald Trump's presidency went on, and you saw all the amazing stuff that he did in those 4 years, all the accomplishments, I can leave a link after if you look at his accomplishment, like everything improved, everything he said he was going to do, he did. But it's nothing about politics. So on one side, the masses are experiencing it. They might not like him, but they're experiencing it. Changes are taking place. He's getting more popular. The media hate on him. You see the whole division and everything in structures take place. On the back end, which unless you're looking, you would never know, crime's getting taken out at the highest levels. The ones that fund it all, the ones that operate it all, people going, oh my God, it's coming down, it's crashing down. And it would have just been painful for them. So think of a military operation and they're just taking, they're like the silent ninjas and that, just taking people out. And people can see what's going on, but they can't panic. So they have to keep regrouping. What's brilliant is under Trump's 4 years, the Q post was an education lesson of bringing awareness to everything that goes on, everything that goes on, how fake news works, how people communicate, what to look out for, what's the proper meaning, and above anything else, Q for question. It asks so many questions, which we'll go through in a few posts, but you have to go and do the research to get the answer for it, which means you are now part of this operation. Because the awareness and by digging into stuff, you open the door to so much more. You empower yourself. And it's that first, you go first. It's that thirst for truth. Because once you've opened up the door, and many of you have done that, you're unable to shut it. You're creating some sort of disruption or disease if you do nothing. So just by updating yourself and watching videos like this, you've stepped into the door. And many of you have gone on different pathways down the rabbit hole. So Q at the time was showing people in real time. So you can imagine now we're all on the lookout for stuff and we're learning still, but you were getting it firsthand. And that would have been like, oh my God, this is happening. And this build up. And because it was so linked with Trump and the military, it was obvious. And I'll show some examples of it. The people that realized, the criminals that know how to blend in, there's no way that we can now go against Trump. It's obvious that he's going to win, and everyone else is exposing themselves. And also, we're seeing our bosses get taken down. There would have been a point where they had to make some informed decisions, be like, we can't continue. We're going to have to wake more people up somehow. And then COVID was pushed in. COVID obviously was an operation by us, but these people are desperate, and then there's people in the system that just want to make money. Then there's all sorts of things. So people just adapt onto it. They needed Trump out. They were desperate. In the 4 years with all this stuff going on, the illegal activities, the illegal surveillance, the spying, the fake news and fake media, everything, people faking, hanging themselves, everything was a big lie, and you were seeing it all. There had to be a decision, and this is where that Robert Davis still comes in, where some of these people are like, well, we're going to have to get behind Trump. When Trump wins the election, we can all go off and hide and stuff and do our thing again and blend in, but we're going to have to break away. And because all this stuff at the top's being exposed now, we can talk about that, Pizzagate. We can talk about child trafficking. We can talk about all of that because they're getting dealt with. And then this has all gone on before 2020. So think about when a lot of us were waking up to the truth. It was in 2020. I've been looking at truth for a long time. 2012, I really started getting into it. However, that was 2020. I remember watching one video with Joe M, and I'm like, there's good guys fighting for us. And I was always following America. I didn't know Q. I didn't go on it or anything. So when I first got onto it, it was then being reconfirmed with things like the fall of Kabul and QAnon. COVID was going on too. So I'm obviously looking at all the nonsense through that. So you hear about Q on some of the pages, but you just had loads of people, Q's a psyop, Q's rubbish, it just predict dates. It's the people telling you it. And then you'd see some posts and they're decoding, they're doing all these things, and it was so confusing. I was just seeing all the lies myself. Didn't really think much of it because it didn't make sense the way of doing it. But if we now go to truth at the top elite levels, first of all, the gatekeepers for truth, there wouldn't have been a lot of them because you just keep a lie going, you tell stories, you go back to religion, you talk about flat earth, that was on there, and you talk about the Egyptian pyramids and 9/11 and stuff. You had your topics. But when these people are now going out, more information's getting out to people. You need to get more people in positions. The physical world that we live in, they've managed to infiltrate everywhere. The fitness industry and the coaching industry is both revolving doors to allow criminals to come back into the system. I've realized that now looking back. It's the easy way. I used to have an education company. The amount of criminals that I used to know, like, and they changed their, and they did change their self, the people that I saw, but it was the way back into the system. When you get a personal trainer, half the time you don't even ask for their qualification anyway. And then coaching's the same thing. So criminals working that maybe get caught or they just can't do it anymore. Like, they know that they're deceiving people and they want an exit out. These are ways to do that. So like I keep saying, every part of crime, you've got to keep thinking people have a past. When it comes to crimes of kids, people have done stuff years ago. People have been in prison. They might have even got a short sentence, a slap on the wrist. It still happened. And these people have gone through life, and it's almost like, right, I start a new life now. It's been forgotten. We have the technology now, and all of that will come out because these people that get in prison are now in the system. And in this system, the worst, the paedophiles and stuff too. So the 2017, the elites was happening. All these things are taking place. Pizzagate's now getting pushed out there. Then we started seeing videos from Malfi Buddha exposing a lot of the Pizzagate, but it was how bad social media was and the internet was for pedos. And you could see all the comments on the Comet Pizza, like the sick people, they thought they were invincible. And they're all commenting and they're this, evil people. So all that's going on, they're learning and you're seeing it all. And then it's leading up to Donald Trump winning the election, and the Q posts are exposing everything, empowering a lot of people. So you can imagine people that are criminals are now following along and they think, right, we're educated now, we've got the intel now, we're going to be safe here. Then they start doing their channels and they talk. So many people are talking about Q beforehand. You can go back to a lot of these names, and they've all done loads of videos on Q before. None of them do any videos now. So they've all got caught in this lie because they thought Trump was going to win. The Q posts take you up to 2020, and I'm going to show you today after he lost that election. But there's a Q post that shows you we're in full control still. But that threw a lot of people in this truth movement hiding. And then it also quite late on talks about QAnon. And Q says it's Q, and then there's Anons, which is everyone on here, the anonymous. There's no such thing as QAnon. So a lot of people are calling themselves QAnon, and they got caught into the media by calling out QAnon, saying they're the conspiracies and stuff. And usually if the fake news are saying something's wrong, all these people are then going, no, QAnon, fighting against the media because they thought they were on the team of Trump, but they got caught in the lie. So this military operation, at every point, you can see it's capturing people. So now think military is cleaning up all evil from the highest levels all the way down. How do you do that? Well, whilst Trump's on there, the military operation Q is showing you how to do it. And it's empowering more people, knowing that the word's going to get out. These people then break away and think we're going to have to blend in. They then become truthers. They're now putting the message out, but they're really gatekeepers. And there's loads of them. And if you remember to start with, they all were mixing with each other, and over time they're all breaking away. It's because when one gets exposed, they need to break away. It's their survival, the whole system survival. It's a war. These people are still fighting in the war. These people know full well what they've done is treason, crimes against humanity, collectively. And these people also have believed that they could hide and blend in, and the longer it's dragged on, because they thought it'd be over a lot sooner. They've got comfortable on camera, but people are now seeing who they are. They're seeing everything about them, everything that they said all the way up to it. And people have grown fond of them. People have learned about them, and some people have changed, but many are still playing the game. And that's the thing. If you see what the game comes back to, it's the thing that we're fighting. child trafficking, sex trafficking, the evil stuff. So it's the same system. So when Donald Trump lost, which was for a reason, it was then to then show the whole world the difference, the duality. They put the Resident Biden in to just be a calamity all the way through. It's been entertaining so badly, but you could see the difference of how the news media couldn't report on him like they did with Trump. They're ruthless to Trump. So everything was such a contrast. It's split to the point where even people that are Democrats, proud liberals, they can't even now admit that they've voted for Biden, and they struggle to even talk about Trump still. They're caught, they're stuck. So it's snapping more people out of this sleepy, unconscious state. It's also highlighting the brainwashing that has been going on. So as the evil, lower levels, paedophilia, and I'm going to show you lots of arrests have already taken place where Q even confirms. All that's getting done, all these people going, oh my God, we're losing people all the time. You still couldn't make that public because other people go, what's been? And they would realize these people have no power as soon as we bring awareness to it. And it's almost at that tipping point now. So think military operation, and the whole idea is to take out evil first. Also know that evil exists in every country around the world. America's the most powerful, so it pulls all the strings. And then you had Saudi, obviously, that got taken down quite early. So there's mob families, mafia families, they're everywhere. So that's all getting dealt with. It's all being connected. Technology. The RICO Act would take them all down too. What's Fear City? It's all connected. So as they're going on, they're using quantum to work out who they can pick off next. They're using 5G, weather control, spray in the skies to control the weather. It's a military operation. And then COVID. If you look at it from a military perspective, there is a weapon there. And people did volunteer to it. And many people realize that they've volunteered for something, which is what their system's all about. Getting God's people to volunteer willingly with their words, but unwillingly knowing. They deceive through spells. So they've had it back to them. So there's a lot of people almost got their warning shot, stop doing what you're doing. And they can do that with 5G control. Think of it from that point. And it also then exposes Big Pharma. It exposes everything. So we're getting to a stage where it's all being exposed. But the year that Donald Trump did not win, which everyone thought he was going to, I was convinced he was going to, and he didn't. The people that were kind of panicking have realized, oh, we got control again now. They stopped paying attention. Loads of people switched off after. If you go to the UK, you'll see that all the truthers in the UK, there was loads of them. I never watched any of them when COVID was on. COVID, it was obvious it was a lie. I was watching America. So when I come back from Brazil to the UK, I met all these ones. None of them were interested in Trump. All hated on Trump. Most of my first few months when I come back, I was doing loads of stuff on Trump just to show, no, he's a good guy. But I didn't realize it was just awake and asleep in the UK. And the original truthers, some of them are cringy, awful, and they exposed the system quite a lot. Because it's a system, they would have been told, you've got to stop now. So it's exposing us. So UK was very obvious after you'd seen the difference with Donald Trump and what's taking place out there. So they were anti-Trump. They didn't want you doing it. So think about all the messages that we've got from people. Many people don't want you going on the Q post because, to start with, you can talk about it because their plan was just to hide behind Trump after. If we talk about it, we're fine. But by them talking about it, they're wrong now, everything. But because they're fighting for truth, they now have to continue. Because otherwise you go, why have you just stopped? That don't make sense. They know what's coming. And they also thought it would happen a lot more. So when Biden come in, then they planned, let's go to the Capitol and peacefully protest. We'll do it all, but we need to get the media on board, and they're just buying into anything they can. The plan sounds great. Look, it's all gone ahead. We're in the Capitol, and people are now getting done for it. the narrative says, oh, the FBI are bad and they get in long prison. These are criminals. These are criminals. They've got caught in it all. So again, military operation, the highest levels, and now it's getting all the other levels. So when Biden comes in, the beauty of Biden coming in is if you're not from America, the UK, let's say that you're a human trafficker in your business in Central America, when Trump was in, it was impossible to get to America. All of a sudden, they're like, Biden's won. And now there's suggestion that Biden says, come to the border. It's inviting all the criminals to the border. I'm going to show you how the border and the wall was created by the military too. National Guard's been on there. But fake news is controlled by us too. So you keep saying it's bad at the border. All these illegals are crossing. They mostly did cross, then they get napped at the border. We're in full control, but you need to paint a story. The other beautiful thing about Biden being in, because it's a worldwide event, taking evil down from all these countries, you can now go into other countries with wars and with conflicts and blame Biden, like we saw in Afghanistan, when he apparently left all that equipment there. They all blame Biden, all the equipment is there. No, that's us putting it there, setting up military operation. Ukraine was one of the biggest neo-Nazi states in the world. So this conflict in Ukraine, we're told a story, but now they're positioning themselves, taking out evil. We don't know what's going on. We get some pages that show you what's going on in the skies. We show the military aircraft, the National Guards are out all the time. Like you can see it happening. And in the process, we're all waking up and more people are waking up. More and more good people are seeing it. However, when we wake up from 2020 onwards, we're only watching the pages that we're getting shown the information and we're only paying attention to what's on the news. Many of us are not willing to go back. If you then get the Q posts, like, oh, we've heard that before, they've said that it doesn't add up to anything, even though some of them have multiple meanings. If you now go back and follow it forward, it shows you everything till 2020. And it's almost like we've shown you it now. Now you go and notice it, or you go and look, and you continue it. Knowing that the people that do that are on the side of truth, and the people that are not focusing on that, they have to have an agenda. That's why it baffled me why a lot of people were so keen on all of this stuff and then just stopped. It's not a topic you just stop if you know what the world is going to be like. You'd only stop, and this is regular. And these are people that, some of these people followed me for all the stuff that I did before on conspiracies. They loved all that, just stopped. Because they realized it's the system that was involved. So what's got me excited now is not only we won this war, it's military control, Donald Trump's commander-in-chief, like that's a confirmation anyway. And also knowing that a lot of the evil had already been dealt with, which we know. A lot of the stuff is being shown now, when's Fauci getting done, when's Hillary Clinton, Biden, they've all been dealt with. You're talking about the highest levels of treason there possibly are. These people have been dealt with. But they've been replaced. There's a game theory going on, central casting at Donald Trump, because you need to tell the movie still. You need to show people what's going on, which again, we're back in the news now. In that same process, the ones at the top, the politicians are the ones that are held ransom by Hillary Clinton. So they're now all screwed. They're all being pulled their strings. A lot of them have had to make a deal. I showed that on the last one where Q says, because they're corrupt as, and now we're seeing the money laundering, all the Ukraine and all these different bills being passed and stimulus is going, like, for what? Because it's showing us this is how they worked. We didn't have a clue about any of that then. If they just arrested Hillary Clinton and said it's arrested, what for? All these things, oh, that's bad. The world wouldn't change at all. The criminals would regroup, reevaluate, restructure, and carry on, which is how it always worked. You just carry on. Everyone else just being brainwashed in their own little world again, taking selfies all the time in their own little metaverse. So we had to go through it all. So what? Think now. The top level is Pfizergate. That's all Obama, Rothschild, Soros. Then you've got the politicians, which there's a lot of them around the world, and you've got like election frauds and stuff like that. So it brings out a lot of the world. Then you had COVID. COVID was created by the Obama administration, pushed by the politicians, then big pharma, then big tech, then fake news. There's a lot more people, but a lot more people around the world too. But now, what we're not seeing, and that's why we're still waiting for big news and big celebrity names and stuff, is it everyday people that you would never meet, that you'd never know, that you'd never recognize? They're all getting dealt with all around the world. And soon it's going to spiral back up again where it's the big corporate world, where they're still doing it. It is the big pharma and all the nurses, oncologists, and big cancer and all that. All of those are going to be exposed. And then you've got the con artists, and then you've got you're seeing from the Sound of Freedom, and now they do the money laundering and all these NGOs. And then all these crimes open up the door for the worst. Hillary Clinton, Haiti, Red Cross, the laptop from hell. That's when it opens it up for all of us. So what we're experiencing now, although it might not feel like it, the fact we're seeing the highest levels of corruption on the news now, it's like, right, it's time to talk to them about that. Because we're getting to that stage where, and it has to be cleared out, for us to get the full truth, you're getting rid of all the gatekeepers. The full truth is where it gets to Julian Assange, John McAfee, Snowden. It's where you get to the Anthony Weiner laptop from hell. It's to find out a lot more about ISIS and this terrorist organization and MS-13. Like that's the powerful stuff. That's where we are now. So November, I'm using as my gauge. That's the elections. For there to be a complete whitewash, which we're seeing. Next week, we got the primaries, is the big one on Tuesday, where there's a number of states all at once. So you're going to, again, the world are going to see, well, Trump's just won all of these. And Biden, we're going to actually have a bit more focus on his primaries still. And that Nikki Haley would just be a bit of dust that just goes and no one remembers anymore. But the world are going to see that too. So that momentum's building. So again, the people are getting behind, they're rallying, they're seeing it. But at the same time, you're seeing all the corruption leading up to the James Comeys and the John Brennans, and the Nancy Pelosi's, leading up to Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, the Biden crime family, Obama's. It's going to be all of it, the Pope, the church, LDS, the evangelicals, everything. So normal people in everyday life, that's the thing that's going to hurt us because it's people we know. However, this is a war that we're all in. And the moment we snap out of our sleepy state and looking outside of us and start seeing, it is on our life too, then you appreciate all this even more. So I've talked a lot, but that's exciting for me now. And I'm hoping that makes sense. So just think from dark to light, I'm going to call them the Freemasons, the Patriots, the White Hats, the military, they've been working in the darkness and they've been clearing up the whole time. We're being shown the darkness, but the clearing up's already taking place. Why do you think people are getting more synchronicities? Why do you think people's ears are ringing? It's because we're tuning into a frequency that's more clear now. There's less distortion, there's less disruption, there's less darkness. It's being dealt with all around the world. So we're getting to a stage now where the world's going to get pulled back in when it comes to COVID because it's the same people. When it comes to election frauds and corrupt governments, it's the same people. And you're going to see what Trump stood for. And he's going to end all this craziness. So, just a few more posts, really, just to show you how all of this was in lifetime. And when people say, where's the proof? Where's the proof? It was showing you. So imagine looking at this stuff now. So knowing this people, and they're showing you the highest levels of corruption, they would have had to be dealt with. You don't just let them walk around now and at highest levels of corruption, which is treason, dealt with. So I've skipped down to about 2000 odd. And the first one we've got is just how, and again, they're educating people watching this. It says, look, why do people trust fake news media? Anons can play this game all day long. Compare and contrast, fake, fake, fake. So they'd rate loads of fake articles. So look what on one it says, Trump's surprise Syria pullout is a giant Christmas gift to our enemies. And then the same journalist, 6 months later, Trump can't do anything right. We don't need troops in Syria. So all these articles, all it is to attack Trump, but they were contradicting themselves. We saw that over COVID too. Same articles, same journalists. So you're exposing all corruption. So let me skip through a few, because you'll start seeing again when I talked about the military and building the wall, etc. Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and she hated Trump. So one of the posts was, the Democrat spending bill offers 12 billion more for foreign aid, so and naught for the border wall. And it says, look, why do the D's, think devils when I say D's, force the R's to include spending bills for approval, billions of dollars for foreign aid? Who audits where this money goes? How do politicians become extremely wealthy while in office on government salaries? How do XYZ organizations, etc., remain funded? Why do the Ds only care about control and power? Power of the purse. Power equals protection. The will of corruption. Welcome to the con. So you can imagine you're doing all the research and you find out that Nancy is making millions. Obama made millions after his presidency. Maxine Waters was millions. So what happens next? And you can search all this was as well, but there was a post where Pelosi said, "You will not win." And then it says underneath, look, you didn't think the largest military spending bill in history for the year 2019 wasn't going to indirectly include the funding for the wall, did you? Learn the Constitution, RE vested powers of the president, RE matters of national security. This was planned and forecasted as the border funding solution from the beginning. Anons had the proof a long time ago, but shining a light back then would have defeated the primary purpose of showing the public the real objective of the Ds, the party of open borders, eliminate ICE, eliminate security, defend illegals over Americans for the midterm. These people are stupid. So it shows you that Donald Trump, with the executive orders for the military spend, which was the biggest one, they put the wall spending in there, knowing that Congress would have done all they can. You could see from that last one, the Democrats put a bill forward for 12 billion, but for foreign aid, but nothing for the wall. They were going to do all they can to stop it. So by Q saying that, you would have seen, like, they would have been, oh my God, they're onto us. They see what we're doing, and people are going to start waking up. So there's loads. So my aim today wasn't to go through loads of the Q posts. It's more of a get excited that this is the military operation. We're all in it. The digital battlefield is now here. The people that are criminals know they're being watched, and they're doing all they can to group together and try to deceive. It's coming regardless. No, nothing can stop what's coming. But also for people that are like, when's it happening? And again, I'm going to reiterate on my page, when people moan, I know they haven't watched it all the way through. If you say we're winning, why are people still dying? Why are people still taking suicide? It's the highest rate. People are losing their jobs. I get that all the time. It's like, stop worrying about other people. Focus on yourself. At the moment, you're moaning. We're in a war. A war means there's going to be casualties still, because people are stuck in the matrix. The matrix kills people. The food kills people. The negativity, everything kills people. The environments that we choose to select, our work, like all that kills people. We just blame people are dying. You're going to see more increases in suicides because this system is being exposed. When people realize they've been caught, their shame, they won't be able to step in front of some of their family members. They know that. So they take their life. Suicide weekend. You're going to see all that. So the moaning, when it's already happened. You're just not paying attention to what I'm saying. You can see the arrests. I'm going to show you examples. You can see the trips, but you can see the way Q's always being updating all the time, showing you what to look for, asking questions, allowing you to do the research. That's what Q is about, asking questions. But the questions you're reading, you're asking that to yourself. which is your choice to go and get the answer. We've relied too much on people giving us information, this truth, and the truth movement is infiltrated. A lot of them keep away from the truth. They don't want you to know. So their job is to stop you coming on here. Because if you saw that, you know we're in full control, but to confirm it more and more and more. And then you can start realizing what we're experiencing now, it has to be done coordinated. Keep thinking, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Use November as your gauge. And the build up till November, you're going to see more and more of it. There's a momentum that's continuing all the time. Every time the news puts something else on, we're going to learn more. So just a few examples. Look, the treachery revealed by Comey, Clapper, and Brennan requires accountability. That can only happen through a federal grand jury investigation headed by John Huber, the U.S. attorney in Utah, who has been appointed to investigate the FISA criminality by the Obama FBI and DOJ. So James Comey, James Clapper. Huber then is a name that you keep an eye on. You're going to see his name a lot more. When Donald Trump calls people out, he said Sessions and complained about Sessions. If you followed the Q posts along, Sessions is like the most trusted guy. They said out of all the people that he's never been corrupted and throughout his whole time in there. And it says trust Sessions. So you get other people saying he's bad, the media saying this, and we all just make stuff, but it tells us on here. So this is the thing when people, they contradict themselves when they say that they trust Q, but then they say Flynn's bad. The Q posts always talk about Flynn is safe. Flynn knows where the bodies are. So let me get a few more because I've just been flicking through them all and seeing what's interesting. But look at this logo here. So it's the US Army Corps of Engineering. What was quite interesting is Donald Trump also then did a post about the wall being built, and you saw that little logo in the corner to show you the military is building that wall. It's a military operation. I'll see if that pops up, but this one was just to show you again where the FBI chain of command, all these people, James Comey underneath him, Andrew McCabe, they were all fired when Trump first comes in. And so this is it here. Where are they now? Look, FBI of investigation, James Comey fired, McCabe fired. So we would have seen, whoa, they've all been fired. You would have got confirmed that this is 2019. So these posts have been showing a number of times. You would have known that we're in control. You would have known that the FBI are now good people because it's telling us. So it's easy to get persuaded by other people, but the truth is you have to know it yourself. You can trust what I put out here because I show you what I'm finding and I put the interpretation on it. So there was, let me just see if I can find a few more on this one, but also when they're planning their meetings, straight away they're posting photos up to almost say, look, we know we're watching you. These people were just being watched every part now. There's no getting away from it. So it keeps showing you this castle all the time. There's the FBA fire. So they must have been happening around the same time. So here it is. If you look at this one, look, we've just built this powerful wall in New Mexico, completed on January the 30th, 2019. 47 days ahead of schedule, many miles more now under construction, but look in the corner. It's that castle again. So it's showing you the military are in control. US Army Corps of Engineers. We build stuff for national defense. And Q says, look, what amazing coincidence. Red Castle, where have you seen that before? New Donald Trump tweet. So he's showing us at the time. And then it shows you how the news articles move quick. They installed General Barr. And what a coincidence, the news is moving quick. So Mueller must deliver a report to the DOJ prior to the OIG releasing next installment. You will understand why in a few weeks' time. So you're looking, and then it'll post another one, and you go, whoa, you're learning all the time. So again, keep reiterating it. We're in full control. So that Jesse Smollett who faked to hang himself, it shows you it is all staged, all paid for beforehand. So there was also this Tarmac meeting, and this woman was called Loretta Lynch, and she met up with Bill Clinton on the tarmac, and Q kept posting about it all the time. And she was promised to get onto the Supreme Court because she thought Hillary Clinton would win. So they had this meeting, and James Comey also said there was no evidence, like they're all covering up and stuff. Q just exposed it all. And then Donald Trump would come in and look, Comey throws AG Lynch under the bus. Why can't we all find out what happened on the tarmac in the back of the plane with Wild Bill and Lynch? Was she promised the Supreme Court seat or AG in order to lay off Hillary? No golf and grandkids talk. Give us all a break. So look, the deal of a lifetime, the tarmac meeting, not planned according to Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton. It was planned because Q sent someone to take a photo to confirm it. Security reports indicate USSS, Bill Clinton and FBI detail Loretta Lynch planned the meeting. SC and LL deal presented by Bill Clinton. So what actions did James Comey take days after? Less than a week after the tarmac meeting, James Comey announced that the FBI would not recommend an indictment against Hillary Clinton. Returning to the news, look, just another coincidence. We dropped Loretta Lynch, was offered a Supreme Court seat on February the 6th and backed up by POTUS on April 15th. Enjoy the show. Just showing you, look, we put the news, Donald Trump follows, and then they react. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But now keep asking yourself, why are these people not showing you this stuff? Hillary Clinton Foundation, Crimes Against Humanity. There was a guy called Coleman, so I can get this one up. And again, it shows you how they lie. Coleman told us he regularly kept notes in his journal. Coleman's notes from October the 4th contain the following entry. Number 1, Anthony Weiner. Number 2, unrelated. Number 3, Anthony Weiner texting a 15-year-old sexually explicit. 926, Federal SW. Initial analysis of the laptop, thousands of emails. Hillary Clinton and the Foundation, Crimes Against Children. So this was his notes in his diary. Look, we asked Coleman about these notes, and he told us that, given their placement in his notebook, the notes most likely represent information he was briefed on first thing in the morning by his subordinates in the Criminal Investigation Division. Coleman stated later that he may have passed this information to other FBI executives after the morning briefing with the director, but he could not remember if that occurred here. Look at the comments, Anthony Weiner, Sexton the 15th. It's not something you had just forgotten about. So it shows you how they're lying. Right, let me just skip for a few more then. Okay, so this is an example where it shows you Donald Trump within 3 seconds has confirmed the Q post. So we catch Obama and Biden, not to even mention the rest of their crew, spying on my campaign, and nothing happens. I hope not. If it were the other way around, 50 years for treason, never forget. Within 3 seconds. So that was tweeted 19th of July 2020 at 1:14:30. And he tweeted it at 1:14. So people would have been watching it. Look, a 0 delta, where we go one, we go all. They'd have been watching, whoa, this is a military operation. Trump is on it. So let me, and here's another one where Christopher Wray, you're going to see his face quite a lot. He's the FBI director now. You see him being interviewed for January the 6th. And the way it's being pushed, it shows you that they're the bad guys. It's not. 3-star general, you ready to serve again? That's talking about General Flynn. Look, General Flynn, a real American hero. Then it shows you General Flynn is changing his Twitter. I remember that in 2020. He's changing his Twitter kind of logo because he wasn't allowed to talk for 3 years, but he was giving signs still. I remember that because Q posters say, look on there. But real American hero. So let me show you the arrests that take place because there's 4 pages of this. People are like, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. I'll read you 5 or 6, but I just want you to see, look, they're big posts. So, Democratic Seattle Mayor Ed Murray resigned after multiple accusations of child sexual abuse were levied against him, including family members. Democratic activist and aide to New York Mayor de Blasio, Jacob Schwartz was arrested on possession of 3,000 child pornographic images. Democratic activist and actor Russell Simmons was sued based on an allegation of a sexual assault when he coerced an underage model for sex. Democratic governor of Oregon, Neil Goldschmidt, after being caught by a newspaper, publicly admitted to having a past sexual relationship with a 13-year-old girl after a statute of limitations of rape charges had expired. Democratic Illinois Congressman Mel Reynolds resigns from Congress after he convicted of statutory rape of a 16-year-old campaign volunteer. Democratic New York Congressman Fred Richmond was arrested in Washington, D.C. for soliciting sex with a 16-year-old boy. Democratic activist, donor, and director Roman Polanski fled the country after pleading guilty to statutory rape of a 13-year-old girl. Democratics and Hollywood actors still defending to this day, including Whoopi Goldberg, Martin Scorsese, Woody Allen, David Lynch, Wim Wenders, Pedro Almodovar, Tilda Swinton, and Monica Bellucci. So it's literally page after page after page. Look how many there are. Loads of them. So it's just to show you that things are being done. Loads of arrests taking place. And this is towards the end of the Q post. So we're in 2020 now. So I wanted to take you up just towards COVID, the year of COVID, but the elections, because now people are convinced Trump's going to win. All the truth is the big ones that were very vocal beforehand were all convinced too. No one expected it. But again, it's part of the plan. That James Comey, treason. John Brennan, treason. Their two names are now in the news at this time. We've seen a bit about them, but not a lot. And now we're seeing it all at once. So let's go up to, like I said, there's so many posts. You just have to play around with it. So look, let's go to, so the elections was on November the 4th. So it's talking about all COVID, all the different governors and people locking them down. And then it says, look, are you ready to take control of this country? Q. So you can imagine getting excited now. Are you ready to finish what we started? Nothing can stop what's coming. It's not just a catchphrase. Are you ready to hold the political elite, the protected, accountable? So these are days before. So you're waiting. So this is November the 3rd, and it says that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. And it quoted Abraham Lincoln. And then after November the 12th, look, nothing can stop what's coming, nothing. And this is a time where a lot of people, they realized Trump had set them all up and stitched them up. And because they promoted Trump so much, I remember one lad, and it's obvious now that he's part of it. I remember his family were dodgy and stuff. He was like constantly on Instagram on the stories, and then he just stopped. But look, this one here, this is the bit where it's telling you, shall we play a game? And it says, nothing can stop what's coming. Who stepped down or today was forced out? And it was a guy called Brian Ware. So let me just show you who that was. So we'll go back to that post quickly. November the 12th. And it says, who has stepped down today? Forced. So forced out. So if we go to the article, look, 12th of November. Senior DHS cybersecurity official Brian Ware to step down. And then let's finish that Q post. It said, more is coming. Why is this relevant? You can imagine people deflated. How do you show the public the truth? How do you safeguard US elections post President Trump? So after, how do you remove foreign interference and corruption and install US-owned voter ID laws and other safeguards? It had to be this way. Sometimes you must walk through the darkness before you see the light. Q. So it even told you then it had to be this way. And think about it. How would you show the public the truth? You let them experience the Biden administration. You let them see the lies. You let them see the difference between the way Trump was treated and how they're treated. You let them see the politicians and how that's divided. You push all the agendas like the wokeism and the trans agenda. Again, all of this is being pushed by us now, but you let the people see it. That's why it's felt so dark and nothing's been happening, because it's just being pushed so much so we see it. So it's so clear to see the truth then. How do you remove the foreign interference and corruption? You need to show people. So Ukraine, look how much ever since Trump come out, the Ukraine war started under Biden, but we see all this money keep going sent there. We didn't know anything about that before. We got a idea. We didn't see how much was being sent there and how little they cared on the people. And then the next day, Durham, Q. Durham has it all. John Durham is a special counsel that's been investigating the Hillary Clintons and the spying campaign from the start. Because they have it all, and he's in direct contact with the NSA, he can literally paint the story any way he wants. And also, when it goes to court, they know exactly what to say because they have it all. So then 2 years later, shall we play a game once more? So this is June 2022. Remember, the midterms are in November 2022. And then people write on the board, look, throw us a bone, Q. We've been waiting for what seemed like an eternity. What's going on? And Q said it had to be this way. Are you ready to serve your country again? Remember your oath. And then, look, it gives a Ukraine one. So this is 2 days before the midterms. What groups are financing Ukraine? Why are they financing Ukraine? Why was Hunter Biden in Ukraine? What did Pop threaten to withhold from Ukraine? $1 billion? Who benefits? What did Pop receive in return? Why is Hunter not in jail? Think. Blackmail, bribes, extortion, threats. How do you control a leader? How do you control a country? Are you ready to take back control? Your vote matters. You have all the tools you need. So it shows you there's a lot more to Ukraine than what we know. So this is day before the midterms. Why do some elections take more than a day to count? Can cheating be done after the polls are closed? Who controls the poll books? Who controls the databases? Who controls the elections? Why are the extra ballots printed? If someone doesn't vote, can bad actors hijack their vote? How? Why did National Guard activate cyber security teams? Who gave the order to activate cyber security teams? Why? To protect the elections? To claim the midterms are safe? Safe from what? Setting the stage. Watch carefully. White hats have secured many systems, but problems still remain. You all have the tools that you need. So I was just in Chicago on this day, on the 7th, got up in the morning, my friend went to vote, and then I flew to Arizona. And I went to the Republican Party, and I wanted to see Carrie Lake. And I was so disappointed with the party because everyone was just drunk, wrecked. I thought I was going to meet a bunch of awake people, all Trump supporters, all for the truth, because in Chicago it's just liberals that are angry. Even their dogs are liberals, and even the Trump Tower, no one knew where any the Trump supporters were. So I was excited, but no one was interested. And then watching the TV screen, Fetterman had won, and all these people had won, and then Carrie Lake's results didn't come in, and so I got there, and a lot of people were complaining about the vote machines. They were waiting for a few hours. I remember it all. Everyone expected Carrie Lake to win. So November the 8th, endless lies, endless wars, endless inflation, endless printing, endless oppression, endless subjugation, endless surveillance. Who will put an end to all the endless? Take control. And this one, who are the silent thieves? How are they manipulating you? How are they stealing your wealth? Bubble, crash, steal, lie, repeat. What is inflation? Monetary manipulation, taxation without representation. To put an end to the endless, 1913. And then it talks about Runback, Dominion, SOS officers, investigators, researchers, whistleblowers. Patriots are in trusted positions. Trust yourself. You've seen the truth. Time to show the world. Focus, focus, ascension. So that's a big one. So the Patriots are in all these key positions all here. They've always been in all key. We've infiltrated them too. So trust yourself. You've seen the truth now. So now it's about sharing it, getting out and paying attention. Most people are only waking up at this time. So we're still getting angry. Our focus is now us. So they cheated in regards to putting Carrie Lake in. She was cartel funded anyway. She used to be a Democrat. She was a donor for John Kerry and Obama. She even once said that she wished Joe Biden was running for president. So they never thought she would lose. It was so expected because Arizona is the most corrupt state in America, and it's a conservative state. A lot of people that claim to be Trump supporters. So they got caught in the cheating. The machines didn't work. And she lost to Katie Hobbs, who was in her basement. Obviously, it's all part of the show, all showing it's the same thing on repeat. But because she got caught and she didn't expect to lose, and because they didn't need to cheat, they thought it was a given. They then had to go and appeal it, which meant if they went to actually do investigations on it, they all would have been caught in the lie. And you could see it was stalled for ages. If there was cheating and Carrie Lake was legit, should have gone straight to Trump. Can you just sort this with the military too? Or we'll just all do it together. Like there's no communication with any of the other people that lost and got cheated out because they were all set up, all caught up in lying. She's been taking loads of money and donations. So we're going to see the truth about all that. So Q's been telling us. And then after that, the last few posts were in 2022. So I might have one more example. So I'll just quickly just show you a few other examples where it gets on like to the Epstein Island and Bill Clinton being photographed. And this lady was called Rachel Chandler. I'll do a proper one on it. But it was this photo with Eminem. I know Eminem's a white hat and I know Eminem's military. I'm going to do another one on him this week as well. I'll put it out there. But this one case has the ability to bring down the many rich and powerful people, those who scream the loudest. Eminem's company was called Interscope and it had the pedo logo. He literally went in and come out, got the photo and proved all of the case. And that's why he went missing for ages. Hasn't really done anything since. And he'd do the odd album and he'd do the odd mixtape where it's called Kill Shot. And one of the Kill Shot ones he did, there was a line that talks about P. Diddy killing Tupac. So he was going after rappers and they knew that they couldn't get him because he's gone away from it all. And the way to confirm all of that, because people say, oh, he did the video Trump diss. If you actually listen to the lyrics, it's all the right lyrics on the Q post, Drain the Swamp, Calm Before the Storm. He says all that. It's just everyone just latched on and said, oh, it's brilliant what he did. They didn't actually listen to his lyrics. And go back to 2002, there's videos of him and Trump says, Eminem, Slim Shady's a winner. And it was all like a presidential election kind of jokey thing. But again, all part of the plan. Hip hop really infiltrated by evil. So look, more examples on this Rachel Chandler showing how sick some of her photos were. Photos with Prince Andrew, some of the photos in Epstein Island with the security camera. So we're going to find out a lot. So Q showed us a lot of this stuff too. And then I'm going to just finish one more at random just to see if we can show you how cool this is. But look, here's a photo of Adam Schiff. Let your enemy dig their own grave. Every time Schiff talks, he turns Americans away. Although charges against Schiff would be pretty badass. Watch Hannity tonight. President Trump has a few words on the subject. So again, imagine, right, we'll watch it tonight. Oh, he's just talked about it. That's how you know Trump was involved with Q2. So now you can start going back to the people that dismiss Q. Dismissing Q means you haven't been on it or you're doing it for a reason. Because look at the videos I've done the last few days, just by scanning through them all, looking at all, I'm learning so much by going on here. And now anything in the news, I just type in that name and then I go and find out a lot more about it. It's all easier to connect, all of it. This is a great one to finish on. My turn, sweet dreams, Q. So I'm going to say sweet dreams wherever you are in the world. And to encourage, go on these Q posts now. Go have a little look yourself and see if you can click on the links and see when the articles was matching up with the time. So think elites are dealt with. Politicians are being controlled like puppets by the good people. CIA are the good guys. FBI are the good guys now because we got rid of all this evil. So there's a narrative still going ahead. One objective is to awaken the masses, taking them on a movie, on a story, to a scare event. And then you've also got the corrupt people that they're getting trolled by fake news. Biden eating his ice cream. Like, showing that there are people dying in other countries. It's their people. Every part of their operation, they know Ukraine was it. They know Taiwan was it. They Hawaii, East Palestine. They know it's part of it. So think about watching it now from the good guys' perspective, in control of news, putting it out, knowing it's going to hurt these people even more. Start seeing that, and then you'll start seeing, whilst we're being shown this again and learning about it on the news, which is obviously spoon-fed for us, in everyday life, start noticing more and more people talking about COVID, more and more people talking about the corruption at work and talking about the corruption in Big Pharma. You're going to see it all. You're going to see it all. So, I'm Harry the Soul Coach. People, I hope you've enjoyed the last few videos. I know for myself now, I need to know what's going on. And this is a great way for me to do that. And the more and more I'll keep sharing, I'll put things together. If there's any topics, what we are seeing at the moment, do leave a comment on this video and I'll do one specifically on that. I'll make them a bit shorter as well. I just feel it's a lot easier to connect more things when you can see examples of it. And for me, again, evil's taken out. So anytime you get in a thought pattern, well, they're doing this and that, we're in control. Snap out of it. If you know that evil has already been taken out, then it's only the perception of evil. If you know that they're being monitored every step of the way, which they are, watch Snowden, we're in control of that technology. Quantum will be able to monitor everything, knowing that they can't do anything to you. So your fear should disappear. What's the fear if you know you're protected from every level? So the fear should be that unconscious state is to snap out of it. Snapping out of unconsciousness is the opposite of fear. It's love, it's presence, it's the gift. Then you can start enjoying all of this and life and the people in your life because you're present. There's nothing to worry about in the external. There isn't. It's just us going to find out the truth, which is people in the external, and we're going to find out some hard truths, but we're preparing ourselves for that. And you have to be if you see the extent of the lies that we've already been given. And then we haven't even had the chance to think about the new world. I've done a few videos on my lives, what the new world's going to be like. There's a meditation I did as well, which I'll leave the link on. Do that as a meditation. It's a really powerful one. And there are a number of soul coaching talks that I do to bring our awareness to the new world, because if you're feeling good and you're getting excited about seeing this unfold even more, and you can now give yourself permission to see it out till November, which will then keep manifesting. By then, so much is coming out. Then again, what are you moaning about? You see, life starts changing quickly. And when you do moan, you'll catch yourself because you're moaning a lot less now. Justice will be served at every level. Everyone that's been impacted, I'm going to find out it's been because of the system. Everyone that has done good in life, everyone that has played their role, everyone that has owned their story. God, the world that's waiting for us is magic. And people watching that know that they've done wrong. Because I know people do watch it all the way through. Let it go now. Let it go now. God forgives all. He forgives. Everyone's role in this awakening was for this awakening. And I say the truth movement, if you're still here now, you're meant to be it. They would have taken you out any other way. And the only way that people know God is through energy. It's the truth. You can see it. There's a happiness to people. There's an acceptance. There's no trying anymore. Just being. People see that. We got the technology for the technology to see that. So every day, what's your lesson? I woke up at the point of revelations. And I've realized my role still helped millions of people. Turn it. Because without darkness, we wouldn't know the light. So for me, it's, yeah, where we go one, we go all. As the souls, we are all one. The people still playing the game. You're deceiving every day. You play the game again. Every day you have secrets, intelligence meetings, and you're trying to set people up. There's no winning, and people are seeing through it now. But I know people feel like they're stuck in a bad system. God wins, people. Trust in that. Meditate. I keep saying, people, do the meditations and see how you feel from it. It's magic. So everyone, enjoy next week, because we're going to see the primaries and the confirmations there. It's just going to start building up even more and more. Take care, everyone. I'll see you very, very soon.